And welcome back, everyone. Ellington here, and we are back on Total War Rome 2. We've got ourselves a 2 versus 2 today on none other than, you guessed it, Bertigala. We haven't seen this one in a little while, actually, which has been a breath of fresh air. Tends to be a fan favorite for, honestly, like, it is a pretty decently even map for the most part. So, I guess it is what it is. But like I said, this is a 2 versus 2. Let's go ahead and get into the factions and the players. For the defenders, we have got Massilia being commanded by Decibel. And as you can see by the yellow border on the flag, the Decibel is the one who sent in the battle. We've got Egypt being commanded by Sikander. Pretty standard Egypt army. A lot of thorax swords, some carrying axemen, so on and so forth. For the attackers, we have got Arverni being commanded by S007. And finally, for the attackers, we have got Ethan Shieldman, not Eric Shieldman, Ethan Shieldman, playing Sparta. But playing the wrong Sparta. So Ethan here bringing in the Wrath of Sparta, not the Grand Campaign Sparta, which is why he has these units here called Skiratai. They are a spear infantry that has JAVIS. Sparta doesn't usually get that, but we do have some heroes of Sparta here with their lovely Corinthian helmets. Corinthian helmets, some of the most iconic, armor pieces, I think, in my opinion. They're kind of one of those, they just stand out. I'm not going to try and chase them around. You can see that the defenders do have a Celtic warrior out here that's just kind of running around being a nuisance. What he did is he brought that Celtic out and set it right here, because the attackers were trying to bring towers up to kill the artillery. Now, unfortunately, Egypt wasted a lot of his ammunition shooting explosive shot, which, to be perfectly honest with you, really doesn't do that much damage. He had a bunch of really good hits on some units right here that he barely got any kills on, that if he had been using fire shot or standard shot, he probably would have gotten a decent chunk of kills. Notice he only has one. And I can tell you that he did hit more than just one of those explosive shots. It was just a little bit earlier in the game that I kind of clipped off, because to be perfectly honest with you, nothing really happened. Just getting in here, getting a good look. We got 2 Celtic warriors taking on the Celtic warrior from Arverni. Now you got to remember Massilia, for those of you who don't know, Massilia is located in the same place as, oh shit, my brain just went blank. Marseille, France, is the same location of Massilia, the city. It was a Greek colony, then the Romans took it, yada, 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 yada. So that's why you see a lot of these mercenary or Celtic units, kind of like your Celtic warriors, your mercenary Gallic hunters, things like that. We do have a fight here. We got some Nubian bows taking on the Gallic hunters here. Got to be careful though. Sparta moving some archers up here on his flank. They do also have some Nubian bows up here, but same thing. Sparta's also got a really good shot on them. That's what makes this outer wall of Bertigala such a tough one to hold. There's so many cross shots. They do have an artillery. Sparta here's got one, and I don't think he's even shot it yet. Arverni here has gotten some chosen swords on. Chosen swords now kind of taking over where the Celtic warriors left off. Unfortunately, they're not. This is a common mistake I see with especially newer players, is they send all their towers up with all their cheap crappy units, right? And they start dropping on the wall and start attacking, but their armies are still all the way back here. So by the time their army gets up here, all of this is dead. And they basically have to just restart the whole thing over again. Keep your armies moving up with your towers, you know what I mean? By the time your towers are dropping, your army should be kind of basically in this general area, ready to continue the assault. So then you don't have to restart, you know, it basically gives the defenders a chance to kind of reset, if that makes sense. Now out here on the side here, we do actually have some axe warriors from Massilia coming out. They're going to hit these Levy Freemen, but there's also some Celtic warriors. Mercenary Gallic Hunters up on the wall, probably going to shoot right down into this. Got some Massilian Hoplites, bunch of Thorax Swords, and of course Massilian Thorough Spears. Massilian Thorough Spears are just like Thorough Spears, just a little better. I think they have a little bit better base morale, a little better melee defense, stuff like that. Well, we might have one that we can compare here. Maybe not. Yeah, maybe we don't. I was hoping Egypt might have one, but I don't see one. I only see Thorax Swords and Carrying Axemen. For Egypt Carrying Axemen, they honestly kind of accomplish the same thing as your Thorough Spear would. They have the 5 javelins instead of the 2, you know, just a solid kind of backup unit. Celtic Warriors. Let's see, we've got 35, 5 kills. The defending Celtic Warrior, 102. Chosen Swords with 89, but they're pretty beat up now. You gotta keep putting stuff up here, guys. You know, you only have 1 unit that's come up as reinforcements so far. Defenders are giving you a little bit of ground to breathe in at this moment, so I would take it. You can see they've got another unit getting up here now. They actually pulled back. I think they brought this Chosen Sword to help out over here. They pulled him back because the defenders sent out a Thorax Sword. Massilian Thorough Spear going into combat. He's got 55 kills. More units moving up. We got Axe Warriors. I don't know. I don't know that they've really... If they're going to commit to defending this, they need to commit to defending it. You know, at this point, it seems like they're kind of like wish-washy. Like, they don't know whether they want to or not. And that's almost as dangerous as the attackers, you know, because in the end, if you're being, you know, kind of wish-washy on whether you want to defend a spot or not, you kind of like commit units to die for nothing pretty much, you know, so you need to think about that. If you're going to defend it, defend it. Have units up here to support, not just kind of like 1 or 2 or 3, you know, because right now Arverni's coming in with overwhelming force. Sorry about that, needed a drink. No, they did break open a wall. I did not notice that, but it looks like the Spartan Ballista did break open a wall there. I don't know why I think this unit was chasing that one defending unit or something. But they've got a 160-man unit all the way back in the corner. Mercenary Cretan Archers. 122 kills, 58 kills, 30 kills. This guy might be getting pretty close to being out of ammo. Here's a Sparta, just an epic looking unit. Let's look at this. Come on. Come on, you can't get much better than that. Some of the baddest looking units in the game. Looks like maybe he's going to send this guy up a wall now. Chosen Swords. They're starting to get pretty low. Massilia might be able to make some progress. He comes in right here. One downside is these guys are going to shoot him to hell when he does it. It almost might be worth just holding your gap here. I'll be honest with you, though. I think that this spot is probably just done. They're bringing another thorax sword up to support, but I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I don't think that it's any use putting more death into this corner here. Sparta seems to be, he's thinking about this. And even if he doesn't, look how much Egypt is holding to basically shadow this. Now Sparta is just walking in, unopposed. So Sparta comes over here, which I think he will. It's going to double team Massilia. You know, there's a couple Egyptian troops here, but not much. Most of the Egyptian army is all the way over here. If I was Sparta, I'd be coming right over here to help out Arverni. Because then you could double team one of the defenders. Ooh, that was painful. Look at that. Carrying axeman. JAVIS right in the back of the chosen swordsman. 97 out of 160. Carrying axeman with 15. Oh, look at that. 26 kills. You can hear that artillery going again. 20 kills. Sparta's artillery still only 15. I'm not sure what the artillery is shooting at. It's hard to tell. You can see the Cretan archers shooting into, basically kind of into the flank of this thorax. It's not a great angle, but, you know, they can kind of get it. Cretan archers out of ammo with 138 kills. Royal Spartans charging into battle. I actually don't think he glitched in the whole Wrath of Sparta army. I think he only glitched in the Skirtai. Because notice he still has Royal Spartans and Heroes of Sparta, which some of those I don't believe you get if I remember right. Wrath of Sparta is like an earlier, you know, form of Sparta, while the Grand Campaign Sparta is a later form. Thorax Swords, 92 kills. Chosen Swords, 93 kills. Aha! I've got you now! They seem to be holding up pretty well over here. Arverni is, to be honest with you, basically out of this thing. Massilia is still pretty healthy. Egypt's still pretty healthy, but Arverni does not look good. He's got a healthy Oathsworn, 87 Chosen Swords, 39, 86. Arverni is pretty beat up. Sparta continue to hit this. I'm not sure why he's going in these dense formations like this. You want to string out as much as you possibly can. Although, to be perfectly honest with you, on the other side of this, you could see that Egypt is using formation attack on his thorax swords, which is why they are not curling in to eat the sides of the Spartan hoplite. Typically, I would suggest having 2 units here. You could even, if you wanted to, you could even extend this kind of into a true kill box. You know, then you get your sides and your flanks there. I think we still hear that Spartan ballista going. Still only 15 kills. He doesn't seem to be hitting anything. Now Egypt coming in with that dense formation. He's also leading off with his general, excuse me. And not leading off, but you know what I mean. And it's pretty risky. There's a lot of archer power over here. There's a lot of javelins over here. Royal Spartans are nothing to joke about. Royal Thorax Swords are okay. Like, they're not bad. I prefer a Royal Peltist, but the Royal Peltist is just a hair bit more expensive. But my main fear is just that it's the general. The Skittertai using their JAVIS back here on the carrying axemen. Another Thorax Sword shifting forwards here. But this side is basically done. What we might see here in a moment is Massilia collapsing in on this. You know, putting pressure on this spot right here. You know, that's what I think we're probably going to see. You can see already some Massilian Thorough Spears coming to help. Some Thorax Swords shifting over. Here's a Sparta landing on the wall. That's going to be a tough unit to deal with. Look at all that stuff just flying in, all those javelins and arrows. Thinks that's the Massilian Thorough Spear. Yeah, it is. You see on this map, they can actually kind of throw over the hut right here. Royal Thorax Sword down to 126, and look at all the firepower going after the general. This is why I said you probably shouldn't have brought this guy up here. I also think it might be the time to land here. You have your pressure. You have a lot of commitment onto this area. It might be the time to go ahead and collapse the flank. You want to do it fast before Massilia really gets into this flank over here. Massilia is decently beat up, but he's way healthier than Arverni is. Arverni basically just has his Gallic Hunters. I think his general also got slaughtered over here coming off the tower. He has that, 160-man unit coming up from all the way in the back. Gallic Hunters 61, 45, and 32. Helid Archers 63. Where's the rest of the Cretans at 71? But they're climbing a tower. If they're out of ammo, that's very unfortunate. They're not, but they are climbing the tower. See, they had the bow out. I don't think that's what he meant to do with this unit. It's just a random, belief of mine, but I don't think it is. Look at this. They're all stacked up now. 2 units there, 3 units, 4 units here. They really need to stretch this out if they can. Heroes of Sparta are beating up on some Massilian Thorough Spears. 72 kills, 89 out of 120. Got those Skittertai back there. Now, are they going to charge into the next unit, or are they going to fall back? They're taking a beating. Mercenary Gallic Hunters, 125 kills now. Skittertai shooting over into the Thorax Swords. Oh, here's the Arverni General. I was wondering, because I was like, he must have gotten slaughtered, but I didn't see it. No, he was able to get him and bring him over this way. Royal Spartans with 95 kills. I'm a little surprised it's only 90. I mean, they're getting some more, yeah. They're probably going to get a chevron here in just a sec as well. Then over here, I think we have another Royal Spartan. 202 kills on this one. Now we're just fighting some Egyptian infantry, though. But here's backup. The thorax swords are here to help. Where are you going, Heroes of Sparta? Gotta love the transverse crest. Which, if you don't know, that's where the crest goes sideways instead of front to back. Rhodian slingers with 31 kills. Some Nubian bows at 55. I don't know why I'm talking like that. 33 men only, though. I'm 125 kills on a Gallic Hunter, and he still has ammo. It's pretty good for a Gallic Hunter. Pretty good. Here's a Sparta, 102 kills. Royal Spartans now 160. They're about to break the Massilian throw spears. So they're going to throw in the Axe Warriors first, keeping the carrying axemen kind of back behind, which I'm a little surprised by. The carrying axeman's a slightly more disposable unit, in my opinion, now that he's used his JAVIS, or at least I'm pretty sure he's got 16 kills. Yeah, they're at their axes out. So, but yeah, I would have figured they would have sent the carrions in first. Royal Spartans over here, 264 kills now. Once again, fighting the thorax swords. I'm still surprised that they are not dropping. In fact, they actually dropped a couple of their towers to bring the units in. And maybe that's why. Maybe they don't feel they have enough of these units left. And realistically, I think the Skiratai are a more supportive unit than a frontline unit, and that might be why. This poor Oathsworn general from Arverni just got nuked. You got the JAVIS from over here. You've got archers from over here. The poor kid has 32 kills. Or 54 kills, excuse me. I misread. I thought it said 32, but it was 52, and now he's at 59. Just got obliterated. This Chosen Sword is still, like, just running around. I don't really know what he's doing. Well, the Gallic Hunter's out of ammo. No, they all still have ammo. Shooting the Massilian Hoplite Gen, it looks like. Here's a Sparta, the general here. Now fighting some of the Axe Warriors from Massilia. Massilian Thorough Spears, 81 kills, 133 on the Heroes of Sparta. But they're down to 45 men. They're getting pretty beat up. Once again, backed up by the Skiratai. Yeah, there we go. Now, Massilia thinking he's getting around with the thorax sword. He's sneaking around the back. So what it allows, now he can collapse in on this. And as you can see, the attackers are now going to try and get a unit to kind of help that. But they're kind of running out of troops here. Bounce power, I'm actually kind of surprised, is in their favor by just the barest amount. And he dropped his towers. So he dropped his towers and walked over here. But this breach is, I mean, it's crammed now. Not a whole lot of room to shove more units in here. He's actually pulling some units out. Getting some shots off with the Skiratai up into those thorax swords there. It's a pretty solid shot, actually. 10 kills, 12 kills. Gallic Hunters, ooh, there we go. Rhodian Slingers have sights on them. 175 kills with 2 chevrons. I'm wondering, so the game really takes into account ammunition. And I'm wondering, because all these guys have JAVIS, if that is like floating the balance of power, where realistically they don't have much left. But all of those guys have ammo. All of them have javelins. And I think that is kind of, like I said, floating that balance of power to be probably a little higher than it actually is. Same thing, I think their Gallic Hunters still have some ammo as well. He's running those away because of the Rhodian Slingers. Those Rhodian Slingers, they've got to be close to being out of ammo. They're not out yet, though. Here we go. Here's some heavy hitters. We got Royal Peltis moving up. I don't think you move up quite yet. There's a lot of ammo waiting to be used here. And Royal Peltis do not like getting shot. So I think it's probably a good idea just to hang on for a minute. Let your kind of cheaper, tankier units take the brunt of it, like your, your thorax swords and thorough spears, things like that. Hero Sparta General's got 92 kills. Now they got a chosen sword up in here. Up in here, up in here. Okay, swap out. Carrying Axeman going to charge in after the thorax pulled out. It's a good way to use those units. You know, they don't have like a super great charge bonus. It's only 21. But they do have a pretty decent AP. You know, so that's I think it's a good idea. It's a good unit to kind of cycle with a tougher unit like your thorax sword. They're not a unit you want to use by themselves, though. Look at all the JAVIs, man. And unfortunately, the defenders at this moment in time, they really just don't. They can't do a lot about it right now. I think they're putting the thorax here to try and get JAVIs off. And with this one moving up, he probably could have. But they didn't fire. Maybe they had fire at will off. Gallic Hunters kind of holding on here. They've got some cheaper depleted units they could probably throw in to hold the gap for now. The thing is that the defenders, they're pretty beat up. A lot of their infantry is pretty weak. This guy's healthy. This guy's healthy. The Royal Peltis is very healthy, and that's really good for them. Little under half health. Pretty weak. Pretty weak. You know. The defenders, they have all the time in the world. They just have to wait for the attackers to come to them. The attackers, unfortunately, they got to make the decision here. I think you should probably back up. You know, get out of this ability for them to JAVI you for free. Please, for the love of God, get your Royal Peltis out of there. You need them on your level. Which I think is why you probably back up. They have 2 healthy Royal Peltis. Ooh. I really don't get why the balance of power is the way it is. The Royal Peltis will carve right through these guys. Maybe it'll show more once they get lower on ammo. And they lead off with the General. They do have discipline, so even if they lose the General, they should be okay. "58-man Skiratai. They're going to have to split up here. Yeah, you should use the hut to your advantage. Basilius General is probably going to go assist in this. There he goes, Sparta being smart. He's coming over here. Using those JAVIS. Even though they're units he's not supposed to have. And I know that some lobbies are different, but the player did mention that Sparta cheated. So this lobby was not one of those lobbies where they allowed people to glitch in units or glitch in other campaign factions. It's harder and harder to define that, I will say. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my mic. I will say it is a lot harder and harder to define that now that the chat is gone. I think they should probably just hit this. They've got the power. You've got the power! Especially if they still have JAVIS. I would get the hell in this. Royal Peltis, eat through these. Watch, these Royal Peltis are just they're gonna obliterate this. 17 kills when they went in. 62 charge or melee attack. Look at them. I would use the whip as well. These guys are doing the same thing. 17 kills they went in with. They're 52. And this is where your balance power shifts. 1, the ammo's gone. 2, now the heavy hitters are in combat. 63 and 60. They're almost neck and neck. They see arrows. They still have ammo. What they can do is once they've collapsed this, which they will soon, they can then just walk in on the back there. I'm a little surprised that we didn't get use the whip here. Because use the whip probably would have helped them eat through this way faster. All right, so this one broke first. I think he was a little bit weaker. Yeah, Skiratai is still 66 men. Skiratai, they're kind of like bringing an all thorough spear army, right? Oh, I get all these JAVIs, but if you get in combat, that's where you're going to struggle. And now they've got a problem over here. This is broke. Unfortunately, they didn't get through fast enough. So what I would suggest doing, well, first of all, they are now between, you know, the defenders are actually at a closer vicinity to the cap point than the attackers are at a closer vicinity to the cap point than the defenders are. Oh, keep going. Send your Skiratai. Come on. You got free reign, man. I would take all 3 of these units and walk my ass over there. And see if you can hold it. You're not going to beat the Royal Peltis like this. Not with these units. Kills. God, they're just ripping them to shreds. And here comes that other unit. They have 152 men left, 151 men left, 265 kills. But you notice they don't have more than 1 chevron, and they have almost 300 kills. That tells you that the Skiratai are not a very expensive unit, not a very high-tier unit. They're just here for the JAVIs. Get in there. Get in there! 137, 320. And I believe that is GG. Royal Peltis to the win. Army losses, and that is it. All right, let's look at some kills here. First of all, starting off with Egypt, we have Sikandar as Egypt. With Egypt as Sikandar was Egypt. You get it. He's Egypt. 1,904 kills. Two of his range did pretty well. His Royal Thorax Sword General, I think he just put him in way too early. Royal Pelt is 335 and 161, and look how healthy they are. We've got Decibel as Massilia, 2,548 kills, leading the entire game. He only brought 2 of the Gallic Hunters here, and they both did pretty well. All in all, his infantry did, pretty good for the most part. 224 on a Thorax is pretty solid. Ethan Shieldman as Sparta, 2,507 kills. Technically, he's positive, 2,507, and he lost 2,505. Technically positive. Once again, I think the Skiratai army is, I don't know. I'm just not a fan. Just like I'm not a fan of like bringing huge, thorough spear armies. His Royal Spartans did pretty solid. Heroes of Sparta did pretty good. S007 as Arverni, 1733. Probably could have done a little bit better here, but he kind of, I think that delay between when his initial assault happened and when his rest of his army got there really hurt him. Notice his Celtic warriors did very, very poorly. His chosen swords did pretty solid. Gallic hunters probably could have done a little better. Oathsworn 59 kills hurts. That hurts a lot. But that is going to be it for today's battle. Thank you guys so much for joining. Don't forget that if you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time.